not start this war. I fight only to protect apes.
Welcome to the first episode of CineWeek.
Woo!
I know, right?
Relaunch.
I know. A Month in Movies has now transformed into a weekly movie show, but still with the same lovely faces. So as always, to my right is the beautiful Katy Gilligan.
Hello.
Yeah. Left, Casey Mason.
Hello.
And of course, Ransom Tassin.
Hello.
All right. So we're going to switch it up a little bit this week. We're going to start out with the coming to theaters this weekend portion of our show. And we're going to give out a quick prediction since, now we're a weekly podcast. So first up, War for the Planet of the Apes comes this weekend. Wish Upon the Big Sick. Now, funny enough, it got pushed its wide release back just a couple of weeks because I think they realized they didn't want to fuck with Transformers, which was probably wise. And they are now coming out this coming week, wide. Then we have Lady Macbeth, Chasing Coral. Wow, can't speak. It's a documentary about the coral reefs disappearing and why that's being caused. And then we have Blind, which, I don't know, no one knows about that movie. No one cares about it. I'm looking clearly to one movie to watch. And awesome... that Ransom here got me a killer birthday present where we get to see all three of the movies in the trilogy. War for the Planet of the Apes. Can't wait.
Yay.
Can't freaking wait. Yeah, what about you guys? What are we looking forward to?
I think Ransom and I are looking forward to the Big Sick.
I'm looking forward to that as well.
War for the Planet of the Apes. I'm excited for that, but yeah, Big Sick.
I haven't seen the first two planets though, so...
Whoa, we gotta fix that.
I
Yeah,
know.
no, they're actually good. They're actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I was impressed with the last one I saw, so...
Mm-hmm. And we saw that one in theaters, right?
Yeah, you did
Yeah.
take me to that, and then I started making fun. I was like, War for the rise of the ape,
God.
of the earth, of
It's
the planet.
it's the joke that never ends because the name itself never
ends. So...
So I think clearly there's going to be one big winner though this weekend. It's War for the Planet of the Apes.
I think we all agree on that.
yeah, that's, I think, all of our predictions. Sorry, that was a fly.
I generally think there's a lot of movies here that unfortunately aren't very, very well known enough to push out to the lead, and War of the Planet of the Apes is that known quantity.
And it's the final one, so people are going to be pretty excited about
I know.
it.
And if everyone's right on how amazing that it completes the trilogy, and that it's now one of the movie trilogies that is going to be talked about, in the pantheon of cinema, I'm excited. So it's going to be winning.
Yep.
All right, so then next we have the topic section of our movie show. Now, this is where we're going to take maybe a piece of news or something that we've been thinking about. It's on our minds, and it's prevalent to what big news is coming out this week. So I think the thing that's been going back and forth on the internet lately for the past month is this whole fiasco with the Han Solo solo anthology movie. Chris Lord, or Phil Lord and Chris Miller, sorry.
Yeah.
I know. I'm a little tongue-tied right now. I haven't had enough water today. They unfortunately left the film. And they were fired because of creative differences, which is funny because they made a whole statement citing that it was cliche, to say that in the business, and that they hate saying it, but for this time it was actually
like it
true.
truly was that.
Yeah. So there's been a whole crazy back and forth, rumors flying out that the movie was going to look like Ace Ventura: Pet Detective for Han Solo, which is insane, and that Kasdan really didn't jive well with the direction that they were giving. It all ended up with them getting a new director, not just for reshoots, but to actually kind of piece together and maybe redo some of the film that was already done. And that would be Ron Howard. So this sparked a conversation. We were wondering if Disney is starting to get to the point where it's actually inhibiting creative ideas from coming into the fold. They care so much about their properties and their vision for the properties from the studio head down that they won't let the creative directors actually take a hold of their projects fully. So, I don't know. What did you guys think of this whole fiasco?
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not really immersed in the world of Star Wars like the two of you are. Even Katy is more immersed than I am.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of it affecting me in my daily life, it doesn't really.
Look at his face.
I know, I'm sorry. But I will say the fact that they pulled out the 2 directors with 3 weeks left of filming, and the fact that it's going to be released in, 10 months now, and it still doesn't have a title.
They are still on track for that May release date next year.
I have a feeling that it's going to be... it's going to be a dud. I think it's going to make a lot of money just because the last two Star Wars... two Star Wars. That Disney...
Rogue One and Force
and
Awakens.
Force Awakens. So that's 2. So they did really well, and they were critically acclaimed too. I don't think that this one will be.
And I think there's been this kind of fear of playing it safe with the last 2 Star Wars movies. I think that's the big criticism. Like, a lot of people say that The Force Awakens was just a rehash of the first movie, A New Hope.
Episode 4?
Episode 4, yeah. And it's fair to make that assumption. There were definitely some differences that made it its own thing, but I can understand where those people are coming from. So, kind of playing it safe. And then with Rogue One, we were getting promised that this was going to be a very dark story, and that it was going to be a war epic, you know?
It had a lot of comedic relief to be that dark story, though.
Exactly. Where the reshoots kicked in for that movie. They actually did also with Gareth Edwards try and supersede his directive take and vision for what a Rogue One was going to look like. But with Gareth, he played ball. So they didn't have to make the whole, a new director comes in to take the whole thing apart and refix it. He was still a part of the creative process. However, the reshoots were shot and directed-ish by someone else.
And that's
which
where
is the funny thing.
That's where you kind of see Disney coming in here with the comedic relief. With even if it is a dark story, Rogue One. Spoilers: people die at the end, and you're not expecting it. You're like, oh crap! But it is still the Star Story, but you still have those little instances and nuances of happiness and giggling and
family.
Disney.
Honestly,
I
think the comedic relief, especially in Rogue One, because I didn't know the story like you guys do. I think that made the ending more horrific for me.
Kind of like when they shoot Bambi's mom.
Well, that's expected anymore in Disney movies.
I know.
But in full blown Disney movies.
Yeah.
But this one, I didn't know how it was gonna end, and I was like, no, this isn't real.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, and I think the comic relief, it helped me care about all of the characters that I would eventually lose.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, that stung. So I think if it were a drama, I would then be expecting it. And I think that's what Disney's been doing really well, is they're taking in people who weren't Star Wars fans and making us Star Wars fans to the point where we care about these characters.
That's
now,
fair.
is that true to the Star Wars that you guys grew up with that I didn't grow up with? And that's kind of the conversation I think that we are having.
Yeah, Ransom, you've been kind of silent so far. I think you've been building your thoughts.
He's like, I'm ready.
Where are your thoughts on this?
I do kind of wish that I could have seen a more gritty Star Wars movie from Rogue One, because Gareth Edwards, building it up, I really want this to be a true war film.
Yeah.
The war in Star Wars.
Especially with, the book Twilight Company. It's when you actually see the perspective of the war going on from just the regular troops, it's crazy. It's ridiculous. You have these huge AT-ATs, just shooting you down like you're nothing.
Yeah, you're like flies.
Yeah. And so I would have loved to see more of that. Do I think that Rogue One was still a good movie? Oh, yeah. But I think this is definitely a different situation.
I mean, it's really that crazy thing too, where it's like, I think they want to be careful so far with the point that you made earlier, Casey, where it's like they want to bring in the new people and also sort of appease the old.
Yeah.
So I do think they have been playing it safe. That is my only one worry. But here's the thing, though. Han Solo has so much writing on it that if they screw it up, they will have like a from the fans.
And the thing is,
we will murder you.
It will be a
You
French
think?
Revolution.
Oh,
not in reality,
not
but
that.
but look at it this way. The rumor is too that the guy who's playing Han Solo actually came to Kathleen Kennedy herself and warned her of this Ace Ventura like look for Han Solo. And when she had a look herself, then that's when the process started of, okay, you guys, this is not gonna vibe for Han Solo.
No.
And look at him, like his career is young and it's burgeoning. If he nails Han Solo and he
gonna be
can
good
convince
for
us
him.
that he is the young Han Solo, that moves his career forward like that. But the other side of it,
You would say
is-
light
Well,
speed.
Hey! I like that.
Though the other scary thing is the fact that they had to hire a acting coach.
Right. Well,
Um,
that's the other news of it.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
well, and it also came after the fact that they had gotten rid of Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, you know, and which is like, well, what does that mean then if, you know, you still have all of this shooting that you're already going to stick with? Are you just then going to have these off, you know, kind of shoots?
It's worrying.
Why is
that,
Casey so happy?
I just like that hurts.
yeah,
Because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a pretty star-studded cast.
Because
And
it's
if the main person of the movie needs an acting
Well-
coach with 3 weeks left of filming, that's a little alarming.
Yeah.
It is. And you've been mentioning so much that you're excited for Donald Glover.
I
in
love
this
Yes!
movie,
I
too.
love Donald.
Ever
Yeah.
since
Well, and
Community,
I
I'm
just
like,
found out that Woody Harrelson is in this, and I've always
Yeah.
been a huge fan.
Mhm.
Plus Amelia Clark, she's kind of a hit or miss for me, to be totally honest
True.
with you. But I mean, Donald Glover is such a talented actor that I don't want this movie to be in his repertoire if the guy
gonna be
playing Han Solo fucks it up for
Yeah.
him.
I mean, I don't think he will be the one that fucks it up.
It's
Obviously,
still
if the
going to be a
rumors...
bad movie. It still might be a bad movie that's in his...
Agreed. That's where I'm worried about. I just don't think that it's going to be oh man, I'm going to be totally honest. I've totally forgotten that guy's name because it's hard to say.
yeah.
The guy playing Han.
Yeah. But I don't think he's the one to bring it down. And honestly, his role in oh wow, why am I forgetting that movie?
Because it's an easy one to forget.
Yeah.
The one with the that
It was like
Was
the
it the-
Roman the movie The Roman Sandal.
Hail Caesar.
Yeah, thank you.
That was-
Hail
Oh,
Caesar.
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
In Hail
Ugh.
Caesar, he was one of the few things that made that movie shine. So
Yeah.
I do believe in him. It's just my worry
But
is
that was a comedy, right?
Well,
right.
And they're trying to make this more of a drama with hints of sarcasm and
And
comedy.
that's
How-
where the question comes into be because that's
I feel
why
like Han Solo's
Disney.
dramatic though.
Well,
Hang on though.
they say that he is more selfish and sarcastic than he is like comedy material.
Which
Yes,
is true.
Yes.
and that's
Yes.
where Disney was coming in, where they realized that Phil Lord and Chris Miller were actually trying to make a movie that was like Ace Ventura, a comedy-heavy movie.
Didn't they direct 21 Jump Street?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
They
I
have
don't
a
need
very,
that.
very strong comedic background. So that's why Disney was wanting to give them a chance because those tones would be great infused into this movie.
But
too
that's a
much of
tone,
it.
that's not the
Exactly,
genre. And
exactly.
I think they made that mistake to begin with. I don't think they should have hired these two directors if that's not the direction that they were going.
So you're saying, in this case, for this movie and everything, you're thinking that Disney actually did do the right thing and they're actually keeping the creative juices actually flowing in the right way.
If you want a gritty Star Wars movie and Disney wants to start looking at the drama of the Star Wars universe rather than the comedic relief of it, with
Or at
only
least
having
Kathleen Kennedy.
yeah
Lucasfilm, too.
Lucasfilm, yeah. I think they did make the right move, but that begs the question: why didn't they make this move earlier?
Long time ago.
Yeah, it's a dilemma, you know, because if they're really trying to stick with the original date that for releasing, that's gonna be hard.
I'd be happier. I mean, and as somebody who's, kind of new to the Star Wars universe but loves it just the same, you just killed Han Solo in Force Awakens. I need this movie to be good because my heart's still broken.
Absolutely.
And if you were to move that movie a few months later, I'd be okay with that. If you're gonna make
Yeah,
just make
it's-
it good.
Agree, yeah.
Don't keep the date if it's not gonna be. If you're just trying to rush it to get it out, don't do that.
Yeah.
You need
Make
to
it
make
good.
You need to. It can't just be a movie that's like, oh hey, here's Han Solo. It needs to be
Yeah.
a movie that's like, hey, we want to add more to the character because
Exactly.
because Han is such a great character.
He's an
wonderful.
icon.
He
Yeah.
is.
He's a cinematic icon.
And that's why I think the actor playing him was so worried and brought it to Kathleen's attention.
Which is good. That's
it
great.
might have been good that they
for
hit
it,
an
yeah.
eject button to get, the changes moving.
But on the flip side of that,
Ron Howard?
you were reading me a bunch of movies that Ron Howard directed, and that's almost maybe too dramatic.
We need a
for
happy
what this
medium.
movie needs
We need
to
a happy
be.
medium.
Yeah.
Because the movies that Ron Howard directed that I have seen, I don't remember any comic relief in them
So
at all,
I agree.
except for Grinch,
Here's
which was just a shit show.
here's the biggest thing that's in his favor though. Arrested Development.
Oh, really?
But he didn't direct that. He just
didn't-
narrated it.
He was a part of the creative process. He,
he
was
was.
a big
Except
producer
for
on
season
it.
4, that was shit.
Well, I don't know if he was actually involved with
Okay,
season
because
4.
that was
But he
shit.
He was still the narrator for it.
No,
but
yeah, fine. But he's a producer on it. So
Yeah.
clearly there is some possibility
Han
that
Solo,
he
Arrested
could
Development.
infuse he could infuse it with some comedy there. I appreciate the sarcasm involved with Arrested Development.
I freaking
You're right
love
though.
that
He isn't the
show.
director. But I do think there's a chance for him. The
Oh,
only
yeah.
problem is I think his latest movies, the ones that he's been doing, have been all boring.
Ooh.
I'm
Burn.
gonna go there because honestly, I think I haven't liked a Ron Howard movie since Apollo 11.
Apollo 13.
Yeah, Apollo 13. Sorry,
Yeah.
thank you.
Good thing you're here,
Um,
Ransom.
You didn't like A Beautiful Mind?
I haven't seen that one.
It's pretty good.
I think.
I haven't seen Rush too, which I hear is good. Sorry,
Yeah.
side note.
I think really like the biggest, the most iconic Ron Howard films are Cocoon and Apollo 13, and those are huge, like big, really filled with nostalgia, which will be great for a Han Solo film, because it's like going back into his past. But yeah, if they want a little bit of that like sarcasm, they'll definitely have to really work with him on that one, because from the direction of his movies, that's not really what we see.
I also want to point out too that I think the reason why they hired him to begin with was that he's a known quantity and that he's a reliable director, and also he's been in the Lucas family before.
Oh, yeah.
He worked with Lucas on American Graffiti. He worked with Lucas on Willow. He knows how the Star Wars family runs their ship. And Kathleen Kennedy was Lucas's heir apparent. So it makes sense that she would bring in someone that's had that past history with Lucas into the fray for this movie.
Oh yeah.
Again, it's my only concern is his latest movies have just been a little like low energy, kind of like talking pieces. I don't like movies like that.
And we needed Han Solo to be exciting.
Right. So bringing it all together, I think for me, I still believe in the ship that Disney's running and Lucas is running. I do hope that they are very careful with their directing choices in the future, because to be honest, I think the upcoming movie, episode 8, that's going to be
Ryan
incredible.
Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson's such a good director and such a good choice for that. And that's the complete parallel opposite where we were worried that Disney was giving the family-friendly stuff. It looks like they're going into a darker tone for that movie, which
Well, I
is
think
exciting.
they finally established the new Star Wars, not the new Star, you know what I mean.
The new Star Wars verse, yeah, like
Yeah.
the feel.
That they're
yeah.
allowed, that with that story, they're allowed to take more of a creative.
And that's where I'm going with this. I think with the anthology films, I think we need reliable directors that are willing to tell a story that's going to be heavily influenced by canon.
Oh yeah.
That a previous universe that's been set, and then take the Edgar Wrights, the experimental directors for the new movies going forward, where you can make your new canon and your new universe. So, what do you guys do
No,
to wrap it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ron Howard to bring in someone so late in the game is definitely a good move, because Ron Howard definitely knows how to make a movie, and he can, at least bring what he has from Christopher Miller and Phil Lord and just, make a solid movie.
I'm excited.
I hope that they change the date. They push it back a little bit so they aren't so rushed, so that
I
they have
agree.
more time.
I
I want
think
them
that's
to
the
take
big
the
key.
time.
And I
I'm
think-
willing to be patient.
I think even huge Star Wars nerds like you two are willing to be patient, if only
Oh,
to
yeah.
make sure it's a better movie.
Oh yeah,
than
I
a
don't want
rushed
it to be
movie.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
just
don't want
want it-
any
yeah.
of those actors to have a stain on their career of the
Because
epic
of
magnitude a failed Han Solo movie
just-
would bring them.
I trust Disney so much in what they've done with the Star Wars universe and the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
That's true.
That I trust what they're doing. My only hope is that they move it back so that it's not rushed.
Yeah, so they have
That's
the
it.
wisdom to take the
Yeah,
time on it.
exactly.
Makes
And
sense.
then this, even though this is kind of crazy, getting rid of directors and hiring a new one so late in the game, but then again, with taking on such a big project such as Star Wars and its characters that are so loved by generations of people, you're gonna have to live and learn, and you're gonna have to know what to do in the future. So in a way, this was going to happen with one of the movies eventually, and I'm
agree.
glad it happened earlier in the game with Disney taking over Star Wars than later on. I'm glad that they're learning right now and not putting out any, hopefully not putting out a bad movie and learning from horrible box office, performance or having actors get their career ruined.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they're taking the time already to be like, hold on though, look at this universe, let's make it right.
Yeah, and only time will tell, unfortunately, what happens with that movie. But
We'll
I
see.
think we all have a regular good consensus on it. So
Just a heads up, when I heard that the Star Wars movie was coming out in May of next year, I was like, hey, that's when we're getting married. And then I was really worried that Anthony was going to dip out on our wedding to go see the Han Solo.
I won't
It's
dip
scheduled
out
to be
on
released
it.
the day before you guys get married.
Great.
I won't dip out on it. I'm just gonna have to see it, opening night beforehand. If you guys
don't
want to
bachelor
make my
party.
bachelor
Don't
party
Don't be
the
late
movie,
to the wedding. That's all I ask.
but they'll move the
You got
date
it.
anyway. They'll move the date anyway. All right.
Anyway.
So coming up is our last segment for this week. We are kind of rushing this one a little bit because we want to get the
Casey,
time
it's
down.
okay.
No. We want to get the time down on this, so it's really
No,
important.
she's sad because of this.
Oh, well, we'll explain why in a minute. So the movie show game. The last month's winners were following for week by week: Wonder Woman, Cars 3, Transformers 5, and Despicable Me 3.
That's 3 sequels.
Wonder
Stop!
Woman did not, unfortunately, get the 3-week run that Casey was hoping for originally. So that means all three of us are the winners.
High five.
Breaking Casey's epic streak. I'm sorry.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry. I'm so excited that we finally got on the board because Casey was just dominating us. We were just losing.
Yeah.
So,
Get out of here.
Yeah, well, Wonder Woman is still better than all the other movies that came out.
I heard
this
Cars
Oh,
3
that's
was
true.
crap, except, did you know Nathan Fillion was in Cars 3?
year. A lot of big.
What?
A lot of.
I
big
did not
people were
know
in
that
Cars
until
3.
I went to
see
his
Cars
panel
3.
at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
yeah,
So-
apparently Cars 3 is like riding the ship, It's like, okay, this one was good.
Nah,
They're gonna come out with a fourth one. I already know it.
I'm over it.
I know.
I'm
me
over
too.
it.
But not before they get a sequel for Incredibles.
Yes, Incredibles.
Incredible!
Mission Incredible. So yeah, for this show going forward, each week we'll give you our prediction for the week. So we all said this week was going to be apes.
And then when we have that last week where we're finishing up the month, or maybe the first week of the next coming month, we'll give you the winners from the month all together, like we do in the movie show previously. So,
But now you're just gonna see more of us.
yeah, it's gonna be fun. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching our first ever week, CineWeek. Yeah, CineWeek movie show. Check back every week. I think we're gonna try for Thursday release date every week for the YouTube channel. So that's gonna be very exciting. All right, where can they catch you, Katie?
Oh, hi. Twitter and Instagram are Caterpins, and Facebook is
Casey.
You can find me on Facebook at, oh my god, it's essentially my full name. So just look for Casey Mason and you'll all pop up somewhere. You can find me on Instagram at Casey Mason.
Where do they find you, Ransom?
You can find me on Facebook, Ransom Tyson. And then I also got that Twitter at Tyson Ransom.
You can always catch me at my Twitter handle at Tyson Brothers. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
See ya.